Shalom, everybody. Welcome to a new class. We continue with our learning of the book Inner Space by Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. Today, we are going to continue on the discussion related to the universes. So, do you have any questions from the previous class, Isaac? I mean, Chaim? No? Okay, then I'm going to start reading. Let's see. The universes. As we have seen, that man is the culmination of creation, the purpose for which everything was brought into existence. In creating the universe, God concealed his light so that creation could exist as an independent entity. This in turn was in order to bestow his goodness upon man through his resembling his creator. Thus the creation took place as a primary concealment of the divine presence in order to create an environment for man. So far from this, we can see that in order for everything to exist, God had to create, right, the perfect conditions for the creation to happen, and He had to create the perfect conditions for man also to live, right. So we could have everything that we need, and He clearly says that He had to conceal His light so that His creation could exist as an independent creation. Meaning, in order for us to have free will, we have to have some kind of independence. When you don't see God, people usually tend to think, okay, I don't see God, God doesn't exist, I can do whatever. That's not the appropriate, way to behave. But what I'm trying to point out is that precisely because you think or you don't see Him, is that you can act with free will. So basically, this is one of the things that He had to do. He had to hide Himself for us to be able to have free will. Because if you have someone that is watching you 24/7, you cannot function. If you see Him everywhere, you cannot function. So the same way He wanted us to, as an
You'll be doing everything that's good. Like if he's
but
if God is revealed,
he said that He created us in His image. God had independent free will, totally. No one can tell Him what to do or what to say, how to behave. So He wanted to bestow upon us freedom. The greatest gift that the Almighty gave us was freedom. What is freedom? Free will is the capacity for you to decide. Either I want to do what is right, or I want to do what is wrong, or even if I want to do what is right, I want to do it my way, but I want to do it this way. If there's 1,000 ways to do it, I want to do it this way and this way and this way. He gave you the free will, the decision, the capacity to think and to act, and that's something amazing because that means He gave you freedom of thinking, of action. In reality, He's not gone. We know that He sees everything, He knows everything. But for us, He created the conditions so we'll be able to interact with the creation, with everything in a way that we resemble the Creator, that He also has free will. So basically, He created for us the conditions so we'll be able to resemble the one who made us,
yeah,
the Almighty.
and so that means later on it says that the whole world was created for the purpose of man. That all the world, the earth, everything in particular, everything that we see in creation, that then therefore must have a benefit for us,
That's
right?
right.
Are there things that don't have a benefit for us? Like, oh, this is like we can find the good, we can find the benefit in
Everything that
every single
exists
part of
in
creation.
this, everything that exists in this reality, we could say has a benefit for man. Because if we function, if we live in this world, in this reality, in this universe, then certainly everything that is in this universe has a benefit for us, even if we don't see it. Now, could it be that in other universes there are other benefits that we don't know? Certainly, because we know that that's where we're going to learn in the class today. There are different universes in which the light comes down into our world, and certainly they are all connected. So certainly there is a benefit for us, even in another realities or in another universe that we are not aware of. But certainly we are going to learn in today's section how is that we derive benefit, or how is everything good and set up in place for us.
When we say other universes, that like other universes other luminaries, stars, stuff like that. What are these other universes?
realities, worlds. That's what we're gonna learn. So let's read in. Because he's gonna. I don't want to explain because he's gonna explain it.
That's it.
That's what I don't want to go.
We don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, exactly. So it says the Kabbalists speak of creation as taking place in five general stages. Each stage or universe, this is what I mean by universe, is preceded by and is the outcome of an initial tzimtzum contraction of God's light. In this way, God created the universe on a scale of descending magnitude. Each tzimtzum capitalizes on the previous degree of concealment brought about and merely serves to further attenuate the light. The creative process thus unfolds from above to below, involving at every stage a greater diminution of the light. This results in the possibility of greater concealment of and separation from the divine at every successive level. This process culminates in the physical universe, the environment which is characterized by the greatest concealment of the divine. Finally, the physical universe, God's presence, is all but completely undetectable. The five universes are called Adam Kadmon, meaning primordial man, Atzilut, nearness, Bria, creation, Yetzirah, formation, and finally Asiya, the world of action or completion. As we shall see, the four lower universes correspond to the four letters of the Tetragrammaton. The apex, Kutz, which initiates the drawing of the first letter, the Yud, corresponds to the first and highest universe. We will discuss these five universes in greater detail in the following chapters. So far we can say that the order of the creation is divided into stages. You have something that is known as Tzimtzum. We spoke about this, right? How the creator contracted him exactly so he could create the space in which creation can take place. But at the same time, even though there is one Tzimtzum, we know that in reality is for us in order to understand what this means, we have to go inside, right? It's like a body. You see the outside, but when you open, there's all sorts of organs and right. So in the same way, when we go deeper in order to understand the creation, we see that yeah, there's a big Tzimtzum, but in reality, after the Almighty created the void in which everything will be placed, right? He had to bring the light into the world, but the light cannot be that strong, but it have to come in stages, and each stage is of a lower intensity to the point that we will be able to handle it, right? So we call these stages universes. We spoke Adan Kadmon, which is the highest level. We spoke about Atilut. He calls it nearness, but it's also known as the universe of emanation, right? Then you have Bria, which is the universe of creation.
Our
Then
universe?
you have Yetzira, the universe of formation, and then you have Asiya, the universe of physical action. That's our universe. So we can see from this that each of these universes represent realities, different realms. All of these universes are inhabited. There are beings who live there. There are other types of creation. We're going to learn all of these. Yeah, we keep going. We're going to learn where are the angels. There are books on the Kabbalah that explain even deeper the names of the angels in each of these different levels. They, how what's their role. Let's say they're in charge of different things. All of these things, this is all explained in the books of the Mekwalim. Even these books are just given as like a basic understanding for the person who initiates, but on a deeper level, it goes.
What is the connection with the YouTube?
Exactly, because we know and we say that each of these universes is connected with one of the letters of the name of God, Yud K Vav K, right?
There's four universes. There's five universes. Four
Right.
letters.
Because on top of the Yud, there's a little dot. The apex of the Yud, that represents the universe of Alan Kadmon, which is basically hidden. If you grab a Sidur, you will see it. But probably in a Kabbalistic Sidur,
A dot above the yud.
yeah, exactly. On the Kabbalistic Sidur, you will see there's a little dot on top of a Yud, and that the sages explained that represents the universe of Ankh-Morpork.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to learn what does this mean, the extensions of the name of God. This is even deeper Kabbalah. It's called Partufim. We no, don't worry. We're gonna go deeper into all of this.
So our world is the last hay in the second
Exactly.
dimension.
But all of the universes are important, and from all of the universes we derive sustenance because ultimately connect us with the Almighty, with Hakadosh Baruch Hu. And for us to receive the light that comes from Him, because we call God in the Kabbalah Ein Sof. That's the name the Mekubalim use. When we speak about God, we say Ein Sof, the infinite, right? And no beginning, no end. So, in order for us to receive the sustenance, the Shefa, coming from the Ein Sof, it has to come through all of these universes
Is it
by default.
vertical? Do we see as something vertical where we're on the lowest universe and they're all each above us? So the light,
That's
like,
right. That's just, like,
so the light, it passes through the first one, Adam Kadmon, and then each time there's like less light on the one
that's
below
right.
it.
And that's why basically this is how everything takes place. This is the physical universe, right? In which we have physical things. But what is something physical? Matter. What is matter? Matter is the highest concentration of energy in one point. Meaning that this table, for example, right? The table is matter, but what is matter? We if we bring back everything to the origin, we see that the table in reality is an energy that is becomes solidified. And you go back stages to the point that energy goes back to thought, thinking, consciousness. Everything is pure consciousness, which is the will, the ratzon of the Almighty. And eventually that takes place. That's why we see that thoughts are so important because thoughts create reality as well, right? This table, for example, it happened. The origin of the table was because there was a guy who had an idea to create a table, but everything was a thought. It was in his mind, in his consciousness, and eventually, you see, boom, there's a table, magic. You see the power of the mind, so important. Is that okay? Do you have any questions?
Beautiful.
Should I keep reading or
Yeah.
okay? So he explains the inner space. The Kabbalist refers to the five levels of the soul. The highest level corresponding to Adam Kadmon and to the apex of the Yod is the Yehida, unique essence. The next corresponding to the letter Yod itself is Hayya, living essence. The next three corresponding to the last three letters of the name are Neshama, breath, spirit, Ruach, and finally Nefesh, the soul. So we see that there are five levels of the soul, and each one they're in correspondence with the five universes, and also with the names of God. As we just mentioned. Looking at the etymology of these terms, we see that the word Yehida comes from the word Ehad, and Yehud meaning oneness and unity. The word Hayya derives from Hay, which means life, and Hayud means life force. The word Neshama stems from Neshima, meaning breath. The word Ruach is often translated as spirit, but it is also found with the connotation of wind, air, or direction. The word nefesh comes from the root nafash, meaning to rest, as in the verse, on the seventh day he ceased work and rested, nafash, says in Exodus chapter 31, verse 17. The Kabbalists teach that the five levels of man's soul, which originates in the highest realms, parallel the five universes and correspond to the inner dimension of each universe. The universe represents the external space or dimension of God's relationship to the world. The soul, on the other hand, represents the inner space of that relationship. So that from this you see that the soul has to do with the most inner, the inner part. The For example, the body. You see the exterior, the physical, but what animates the body is the neshama, the soul that is inside. So it happens with anything that you see physical, the universe, the creation. Certainly, inside there is an energy that is a divine. This is what we call the soul, right? Some type of energy. People bring different definitions of what a soul is,
These
etc.
and these four souls are all inside are they inside our body?
That's right. Each one of us, we have First of all, the soul is one. We have to understand this. The soul is one. But again, for us to be able to understand, we understand that the soul
There's components,
is exactly it's composed of five parts.
five parts.
Five parts. Now, you ask a good question. If all of these parts are inside a person, the Mekubalim explain in the Et Chaim, in Cesar Gloria, that there are three parts inside the body and there are two parts outside of the body. There are three components that your mother gives you, and there are two components that your father gives you. So the nefesh, ruh, and the neshama are inside the body, and the haya and the yehida are around the body, right? The mother gives you the nefesh, ruh, and neshama, and the father gives you haya and yehida. Now, why is that you have two components outside of the body? Because in reality, the components who are outside of the body are the strongest one, with the muscle energy. And these are the ones who infuse the body with energy constantly. And the energy is so powerful that the body cannot contain it. Otherwise, the body will blow into pieces. So what gives strength, energy, sustenance to the parts of the soul that are inside the body are the outside components, because these are the highest levels of the soul that corresponds to the very very top of the universes, as we spoke, and to the utmost of the letters of the name of Hashem. So they explain also that when a person dies, is that when we are able to finally unify with these other levels. If you think about this is what in other cultures, other religions, they say this. They call it an aura,
Huh?
right? There's some kind of energy people
Around the person.
around a person. People see colors, whatever. It's something similar to that.
How come they can see that? Like in India, right?
No, everywhere. Even we have it. I just told you we have it in Judaism. We call it Haya and Yehida.
Can we become sensitive to see an aura around people if
Yes,
we
there's
do like
people who
certain
can see it.
practices?
Yeah, there's people who can see it. But that's easy also to do. You just train yourself.
Yeah.
Not either you might see it physically with your own eyes, or you train yourself to see it in other people, because it will show in right physically. For example, when you see a person that is very very holy, you see that his face is shining, right? You see some kind of light and brightness in the person. You see that it's not normal. Not everybody has that, right? They're clearly telling you there is an influx of energy, right? Why that happened? It could be that the person spent the day praying or fasting or doing something very holy, that the person was able to connect with the energies outside. These are cosmogonic energies that are bring influx of energy into the body. And guess what? Because these energies come, or let's say they are cosmogonic energies, somehow we are able to relate to other people because of these energies. Meaning I can relate to you because of my energy that surround me. But these levels of my soul also relate to your levels of your soul. You have also Haya in Hida. I also have Haya. We have all the levels. And ultimately everything comes from itself. It could be that this is what the psychologists call the unconscious collective. I think that's how you say it in English. In Spanish, it's like inconsciente colectivo. That's why Jung calls it, and he said that there is some kind of akashic records. You hear about that? Some kind of collective consciousness of all human beings.
Subconscious.
So yeah, something like that. And it could be that this is what the Mekubalims are talking. But again, this is deeper.
One question.
Mhm.
Um, we know we receive everything from Hashem.
Yeah.
How can we say that we receive the three parts from our father or our mother, and the two parts of the neshama from our father?
Yeah.
The three
Well,
parts from our mother. Like, what does it mean? Like that we get it from each parent?
literally, I mean, first of all, there's no contradiction here, because how is that you are born? You need to have a father and a mother. The moment your father unites with your mother, both unite to create something, right? So certainly you have energy coming from your father and you have energy coming from your mother. Not only in an energetic level, but also physically. If I do a DNA, you will have the DNA of your father and the DNA of your mother. And we just learned that what is the body, what is the physical? It's simply energy that became matter.
So what does it mean that there is it like part of their soul
Basically, your
is
father
my
will give
soul?
you energy and your mother will give you energy. And this is what we call these three levels of the soul. And your father will give you this the other levels of the soul.
Did it create a separate
They didn't
entity,
create. They
or
didn't
was it part
create.
of his
They
soul?
didn't create. This is all coming from Hashem. We are basically just channels of the divine consciousness. Your father, your mother, me, every one of us. When we have children, we basically channel. Even right now, when we are learning this, what are we doing? Just channeling knowledge. What is knowledge? Information. What is information? Energy.
So what it means that we get it from our father's side is that he's.
It could be also that what the Mekubalim means that you. First of all, certainly it's obvious that if you all have a father and a mother, we will have the energy of the father and the energy of the mother. That's for sure. Because again, when you have a couple, they
With
get
energy, with their DNA, we have.
everything. But ultimately, everything is energy. So we have a spiritual DNA, and we have a physical DNA. One that is coming from your father, one that is coming from your mother. Certainly, for sure. This is even deeper. So, in a deeper level, I could say that when we speak about three levels of the soul, nefesh, ruach, and the neshama, that are inside the body, why do we say this also comes from the mother? Because these are levels that are contained inside a vessel, a kli, the body. And we say that the two other levels, the Hayah and the Yehidah, that are so powerful, right? It comes from the father, is the masculine side. And in terms of the Kabbalah, we speak of energy as masculine and feminine. Now, don't take this literally like oh, masculine energy. No, no. We're talking about in a deeper level that we are going to analyze this. But basically, when it could be, if I want to go deeper, it could be that when the Mekubalim explain, they say, oh, these three levels have to do with the father and so with the mother. Maybe they're talking about in terms also of the energy that we call masculine energy, feminine energy. When Hashem created the universe, we have different types of energy. We have a level of energy that is called Af 72, and there's a level of energy that is called Sak 63. Maybe you don't understand what I'm talking about. This has to do with the extension of the name of God, Yud Kei Vav Kei, in the different universes, and then we have it's deeper. But basically, when you have a masculine component and a feminine component, you
I
put
see
it
that.
together, you can create something. So this could be literally in the physical world, like right now, you see something like matches and unites, right? And you also on a cosmogonic level, you have the same. You are noticing that we're going here into deep stuff, right? If we're talking about cosmogonic energies and science. This is Kabbalah. It's really deeper.
So our soul is comprised of a masculine part, which is three parts.
That's right.
And a feminine part, which is two parts. And a woman has the same.
Exactly the same thing.
Same thing.
That's why that's why when I say when I speak about energies, don't take it literally as like we understand in physical terms, like oh, like a woman and a man. No, in a physical sense, yeah, that exists. But in the spiritual level, energetic level, we're talking about concepts that go beyond gender. Let's say we're talking about in terms of right an energy that gives and one that receives. The energy that gives is called masculine energy. The energy that receives is called feminine energy. And we explained that the levels that are outside Haya and Yehida, they give to the ones that are inside the body because they are so powerful that they're able to send the shefa, the sustenance, the same way that a man is the one that sustains, right? That gives, brings, the shefa to the home, parnasa, all that. So when we're talking about masculine and feminine in this, uh, let's say, language, we're talking about an energy that gives and one that receives. For example, right now, I am giving you something. I'm giving you this knowledge. I'm explaining, right? So you are in a position of receiving. This is called feminine energy. And because I'm giving, I am in the position of masculine energy. But guess what? When you say something, when you share something, we flip because I'm receiving from you. So it's masculine energy coming, and that's feminine energy that's receiving. So that's why we all have both components, masculine and feminine. So it depends on one who gives, one who receives.
God created us in a relationship where God is the masculine and we as a people are feminine. We're the receivers
That's
of,
right.
of His goodness.
That's right.
But then He also created us in the image of God, where we have that masculine energy of giving, of being givers. So how could it be that the soul is more masculine than feminine when God is masculine Himself? Shouldn't the soul be a receiver?
No. First of all, you don't confuse terms here. I never said that the soul is more masculine or more feminine. I said with
But it
the
has more parts that are masculine and feminine. That's what I'm
no
saying.
nefesh, ruach, neshama,
Wait,
feminine
sorry,
component.
my bad.
Hayay.
I mixed it up. There's more parts of
But
feminine than
again,
masculine.
don't take this in terms of masculine and feminine in the way we understand in this world. I'm talking about the position of giving and receiving. And again, it just depends on the position that you put the energy. It's like a coin. If you flip its face, if you flip its back, but it's also one coin. It depends where you put the energy, right? If right now I am teaching a class, I'm in the position of masculine, giving energy. But if I go to the class with the rabbi, then I am in the energy of receiving, feminine.
Yes.
And it's me, Joel, fully, full part. So that's why I explained the soul is one, but there are different components.
Got it.
It just depends in the position that you put the
Okay. Different
energy.
expressions.
And now let me explain something else. God is not masculine and God is not feminine. And if you want to say he's masculine, you want to say he's feminine too. This is deeper. I don't want I don't want to go there because this is explaining there's a the Kubalim call there's a feminine aspect of God.
That's really interesting.
And that's why
I've never thought about that.
but
He's
again,
he's
do
a
you
giver. You're a giver.
yeah, absolutely. At the highest level, he's giver. But guess what? We just explained that there are universes. There is right Adam Kadmon. There is the universe of Atzilut. So Adam Kadmon is masculine because he's given to Atzilut, right? But Atzilut is given to Bria. So wait a second. You told me Atzilut is feminine here, but Atzilut is masculine to a lower level, and the other one the same, feminine, but to a lower is. So you see again,
Except
it,
for the
it
lowest and the
has
highest, though.
nothing to do. Again, you have this is very hard in the beginning to understand this, but it has nothing to do with genders the way we understand it in the human, right? Like a man or female. We're not talking about that. We're talking about in the position.
Yeah.
One is
And
giving, one is
the
receiving.
one that's in the lowest position of Sia, like this world, is this considered the world of receiving,
That's
feminine?
absolutely. This is called malchut, which is feminine. Absolutely. And yet at the same time, we are inside, right? It's like look, for example, you look at the heavens. And the earth usually is understood as feminine. The heavens masculine. The heavens make rain. And the rain falls on the ground, and the ground produces right crops and fruits and food.
Feminine.
So from this you see, but again, everything depends on the way you put the energy. And again, we say, oh, God is the ultimate giver, so he must be masculine. But in reality, we cannot ascribe any definitions or nothing to God. Even when we say God is this, God is that, if we go deeper, we cannot say anything about God. We cannot say he's masculine, we cannot say he's feminine. We have to say these kind of words for us to understand what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But in reality, he's beyond that.
I do want to understand how you could be a feminine aspect of God, a receiver.
Okay, this is deeper. You are again going before the material. I don't want to.
Got it. Okay.
I don't want to jump there because again, I would spend just hours outside of what we're just learning in the material, and
No, it's fine.
we are going to discuss this. And even when you have to also know something that deeper than what I all that I just explained right now, I could give you a totally different, deeper explanation, but I don't want to confuse you because we're talking about levels and levels of understanding. There's something called parzufim, and there's deeper stuff. But again, I'm just giving you a basic understanding of these things.
This is
But if
already
I
deep.
can, if I go deep, I could even change all definitions of what I just gave you right now. But again, I don't. Again, let's not jump. Let's just right slowly. Let's familiarize with these concepts. In the beginning, maybe it's gonna be hard to understand what we're talking about with all this. Don't worry, it's all good. Eventually, the person will understand, right? Um. Okay. So, do you want me to read the next paragraph, or you want to stop here?
Yeah, I'd like to read the Kabbalah speech.
Uh huh.
Yeah, you can read.
Okay. You want to read this paragraph?
Sure.
My friend Isaac is calling. Let's hear your life.
Is it okay if I read now?
Go ahead.
The Kabbalists teach that the five levels of man's soul, which originates in the highest realms, parallel the five universes and correspond to the inner dimension of each universe. The universes represent the external space or dimension of God's relationship to the world. The soul, on the other hand, represents the inner space of that relationship. The five levels of the soul thus form a chain linking man to the supernal universes and to God. Since the soul constitutes the inner dimension of the universes and the reason for which God originally concealed his light, man's primary connection is directly with God. Thus the Torah says, and God blew into his nostrils the soul of life. Commenting on the inner meaning of this verse, the Zohar notes that when God exhales, he does so from his innermost being. Furthermore, even after placing his breath into man's body, this breath is still not severed from him. This indicates that man's soul is an extension of God's breath and is directly connected to him.
Okay.
Our soul is an extension of God's breath, an extension of God. We are connected to God.
Okay, you read the first paragraph? Oh, okay, sorry, you read this little part.
Before the glass blower analogy.
Okay. You have questions on that?
I think it's a good point. Now, should we keep the next one for next class? For next
Okay, you want me to continue or stop here?
glass blower analogy?
Okay, if you want, we can stop here and we can continue. So because now he's gonna bring an example. He's gonna explain. Okay, right, the one who blows, the one is deeper, and then next he's going to explain each of the different levels of the soul, the nefesh, ruach, neshama, haya, and yehida, and with that the chapter ends. So if you want, just leave it like that so it stays connected. B'ezrat Hashem, and then we can next time just focus on maybe just finishing the chapter. I think it's not that long, right?
Yeah. That's perfect. Good review.
Okay.
Good learning. Schmack.
Do you have any final question? The people who are watching us live right now,
Yeah,
if they have any question before we finish.
What are the secrets? You to your deep level of understanding. How can we become better at understanding God's wisdom and just being able to grasp more Torah, more wisdom?
Doing what we're doing right now. Exactly how the Hamim set everything in place. Trust me, they have more wisdom, more knowledge than us, and everything, the prayers, the tefillot, doing acts of chesed, being a good person, learning, studying. All of this is, designed for us to be able to perfect ourselves, to reach levels of kedusha, of holiness. And when a person reaches a level of holiness, that's called devekut, because you are becoming similar to the Almighty, that is holy, kadosh. And that's why that's our goal in Judaism, to become holy. And that's what we say 3 times a day, kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. We want to be holy because by becoming holy, we are assimilating ourselves with the Almighty. And we learn in the previous chapters that when two things are similar, they attract each other. They resemble each other. They are united. It's called devekut. So our goal is to unite with the Almighty, is to connect with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So this is basically an answer to your question.
Are we able to become holy? Let's say if we're living alone, isolated, or is the only way to be holy is also through our connection with others, us being able to speak to others?
No, certainly a human being. I mean, we were created to be in a community, to have a family. Even when Adam was by himself alone, what God said in the Torah, it is not good for man to be alone. You see, it says like that clearly. You know the pasuk. It's not good for him to be alone. He said, I'm gonna create for him a partner, a wife, and then right, you create a family, and then you have a community and cities, this and that. So certainly, a person. It's not a good thing to be alone. They could be that there's people in this world, right? I don't know. They because of X reasons in life, they end up being, I don't know, in a mountain or here or there, whatever. It's because of whatever happened in this specific person's life. But for all of us, is clearly an indication that we were created to be united, to create connections. We can go even deeper when we learn about the Sefirot. We will see that in the beginning, the Sefirot, right, they were separated. There was no connection. Because there was no connection, that was not good. That created the Shevira, breaking of the vessels. And then the Almighty had to send the Da'at, that the Da'at create like bridges, connecting everything. So that's how things could happen, how the creation can take place, how the society works. It's not by myself, it's the collective effort of all human beings that we create a better world, that we create a better society. That, for example, how can we grow and improve spiritually? It's not because, right, if Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan wouldn't have written this book, we wouldn't So it's because of his effort. But even when he wrote this book, he's basing his knowledge in the previous effort of all the great Hamim and sages from previous generations. And now we are learning this. But the people who are watching this class on YouTube, they are benefiting from the connection that we're making right now with Ari Kaplan. With you see what I'm saying? Mamash, everything is connected. That's why in the Kabbalah, the work, the avodah that we're doing is the avodah or yihudim, connections. When you look at the Kabbalah of the Arizal, it clearly everything is yihudim. If you look at the Sidur of the Mekubalim, of the Kabbalists, it's all about unifications of names of God. It's deeper stuff. But basically, this is what it means tikkun olam, to recognize that we're all connected, to recognize that every little particle of the universe is a part of me. I'm made of the dust of the stars, of the sun, of these, of the tree. Everything is connected, and I'm connected to you. When you have this level of consciousness, certainly, we operate in a different level. We understand like, oh, if I hurt you, it's like I'm hurting myself. Really, mamash, deeply, it's a met, and vice versa. And then the level of consciousness changes completely, and you learn to respect other people and to appreciate variety and to appreciate different thinking. It's deeper. I don't know if that answered your question. Okay.
Wow.
Any other questions?
You took me on a trip. You just connected me with my neshama, and I realized like I have to like learning right now with you is connecting me to my soul.
That's right.
Making me want to do good. It's making me like think of myself in a pure, like my natural pure state that I am, and it motivates me to I wanna connect and unify myself with God. I wanna do things the right way. I want to wake up early and just feel my pure self. I want to keep learning Torah. This is really motivating. I feel great learning this with you, and just I feel like it's super important for men to learn about the creation of the world, about our existence, like what the purpose of the world. Why was the world created? And we realize that it was created for man, for us. Hashem wants to give to us, and everything's for us to do. So we have so much good to be able to. We have a responsibility to carry out this good in this world, and also to be happy with the mitzvot and everything that we're blessed to have.
Amen.
Thank you for this great class.
Okay. Okay, Besat Hashem. Thank you so much to the people who connected. We have 5 people connected, and Besat Hashem, all the other ones that will watch this class. Yeah, basically people just saying, sending greetings and really appreciating what we're just sharing.
Wow.
Besat Hashem. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, and Besat Hashem. We'll see each other in the next class. Okay, this is Chaim.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is a great teacher right here, great friend, great teacher. We're all very privileged.
Shalom, shalom.